Hey, where's my cool transition? Alright, I need to back up. Oh, well, no, that just ruined it. I need to back up. Alright, we're doing this again. Welcome to my show, everybody. Welcome. Today we have a so I know I always talk about like, hey, let's not shit on Bitcoin maximalists anymore. Let's just move along, right? But it's just so fun. They're just so hypocritical, and I hope some of this information can be helpful to people just to kind of show their hypocrisy. But it's just fun. I'm not really sure what to say. So we're gonna do a little continuation from last show. So last show was about how the Bitcoin Cash community is coming together, right? Like, yeah, we're all coming together, and it's wonderful. And so it was in regards to Roger and Amri Seshe, kind of trying to like reach a communication that worked for everybody. But anyway, so Roger put out this. There was a claim that Roger said that he gave Bitcoin ABC $500,000, right? And so here we are. Roger put out this list with basically all of his expenses. List of funds spent by Bitcoin.com to support Bitcoin Cash protocol development. So, as you can see, let's see, it's kind of hard to see on your screen, I know, but so there's fundraising payments, which was not exactly Bitcoin.com. It was the whole community. Bitcoin.com was just like managing the funds. So that wasn't actually like directly from Bitcoin.com. But that grand total, it's hard to see. It's 148,000. That's not even 500,000. And so there's no 500,000 basically. And so not really a good look. I'm not like, it's cool to see the transparency, I guess. Like, so he did give a lot to Bitcoin Unlimited. So this is its own line item. It's hard to see, but he gave half a million to Bitcoin Unlimited apparently over the last 3 years, since 2016, about 150,000 a year. And there's no really line for Bitcoin ABC, but then Roger goes in the comments and saying that the hash war costs are in here. So it was, let's see, the hash war costs were basically $1 million, and in the comments, Roger like says that counts because if he didn't spend that money on the hash war, then Bitcoin ABC wouldn't exist, which is just like so untrue. If ABC lost the hash war, maybe they would have lost the BCH ticker on some exchanges, but Bitcoin ABC would have still been a thing. So I'm not sure what the logic is. So not all as well. So let's go to some investment advice. I have nearly all my net worth in Bitcoin. I'm young, have ambition, and have absolutely nothing but time to lose. I put my money where my mouth is and stand up for what I believe in. Imagine not using the hardest, scarcest money ever created. Could never be me. Fuck you. That's it. So, apparently, like, having, like, big dick syndrome is cool, I guess, in Bitcoin. Like, don't put all your net worth in Bitcoin. That's, first of all, don't do that, please. And second of all, it's just stupid. This is the shit that gets like. So a lot of this episode is going to be on Twitter because that's just where the crypto discussion happens. So let's keep going, shall we? And so this is a guy who, an OG dev is back from the ashes is the title of this. And well, what is he talking about? Well, he basically goes into his backstory. He was an app developer for Android, and then he basically lost his shirt. He operated Bitcoin ATMs, and then like Bitfinex got hacked, and he didn't have any funds in BitConnect, but then he still had to like pay out funds because Bitfinex is weird. And anyways, he got back when he saw BitPay was accepting Bitcoin Cash, and he was like, the fees were zero? How? Must be a total scam. But he knew the BitPay team. And so, but the really weird thing about BCH is that it worked perfectly. And so just yet another example of a dev coming back to Bitcoin. So here's another one. Joe Rogan was talking about Bitcoin on his latest podcast. So let's see what he had to say.
grabs all that information, and then they use it for something nefarious.
Well, I get nervous when I hear about companies like Facebook that are thinking about starting their own cryptocurrency. And I'm like, whoa.
Are you a believer in Bitcoin?
Money now?
Or?
I'm not a not believer, but I'm not like invested in it. It's not like something I had a guy on several times, Andreas Antonopoulos, who's a big Bitcoin expert, and very, very bright and interesting guy, and I really enjoyed talking to him about it. But he's all in. Like, he does all his banking with Bitcoins, pays his rent with Bitcoin, gets paid with Bitcoin. Everything is Bitcoin with him. And, you know, he's loved by the Bitcoin community and all this different stuff. But at the end of the day, I just don't totally understand how you can have so many of them. Like, how many cryptocurrencies are there? And then if you don't have so many of them, well, who's to say when you could stop making them? Like,
right. Who's the arbiter to say, no, that's legitimate or that is not? I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I fall in the category of I don't understand it. To be fair, I haven't taken the time to understand it.
You can't think about everything. This is my take on it. You can't. You don't have enough time to think about everything. So I'm letting that one play out on its own. And I'm going to just sit back, and when it's 100%, when it's 100% all in, when everybody's like, look, Bitcoin it's just like money.
Yeah.
Okay. But until then, and they kind of predicted it was going to be just like money quite a few years ago, and it never really did hit that. But you can buy some things with Bitcoin. There's some companies that let you buy computers with Bitcoin.
I'm sure there's a fair amount of transaction that goes on, from what I understand. But again, I don't understand. I don't understand how it's backed necessarily. I'm sure I'll probably get all sorts of comments now, like, you're a fucking idiot. You should be heavily involved in Bitcoin. But I buy gold bars, and
gold's real.
Plant them out in the backyard.
They've been killing people for gold forever.
Yeah, exactly.
That's legit shit.
Yeah, that's the way I feel about it. Gold and catheters. I'm stocking up on both.
Those are both going to be really important in the future.
So Joe Rogan is like, yo, Bitcoin is the money. It is. But the people that we're going to talk about today say it's not money. And so that's why we're still talking about these guys, because they convince people like Joe Rogan that Bitcoin is not money, which is just so insane. It's just, I don't know how it came to this, but here we are. It's this organized PR campaign that I always talk about. Anyways, let's keep going. So here's a meme that Samson Mao tweeted. So it's the BSV, ABC, Bitcoin Cash flippening. And I think it's sexist because there's a woman who, I don't know who this is. Apparently it's some Bitcoin woman. I don't know, but this is sexist. Come on. You get mad about your girlfriend just not being photoshopped, just a picture. Anyways, next. Okay, so can anyone explain to me why it is desirable to have one's coffee transaction enshrined in an immutable public ledger stored on thousands of nodes around the world with 24/7 availability for perpetuity? Well, Ali Star, one man's coffee is another man's daily salary. So this is a very privileged view of Bitcoin, and this is just like I was saying, if you can't use Bitcoin for coffee, if you can't use the base chain for coffee, then you don't have money, right? And so again, this just the retweets and the likes, it's just this narrative is just going on and on and on, and it's so let's get into the subject here, shall we? Let's get into the subject, shall we? So, this happened. BTC Pay, which is the open source alternative to BitPay, we're happy to announce Liquid network payments are now integrated. So now you can use Bitcoin on Liquid, which is a side chain of the Bitcoin blockchain, as in the payment processor, right? And so, cool, I guess. You can use a side chain to, that's a scorecard woman, no sexism at all, like in a box ring. Yeah, but the point is that, he cried sexism about something that wasn't sexist. And anyways, it's just hypocrisy. I don't really think it's sexism, but it's more sexist than the other one, if we could say that. So, and then we get some hot takes about Liquid. So, Matt Corallo, who's obviously a founder of Blockstream, he is no longer there. He now works at Square Crypto, right? That's what it just said. Yeah. And so he says, don't use the trust model is horrid for end users, and a Lightning network in BTC Pay server is better anyway. If you want to move money between exchanges, that support it use Liquid. If anybody tells you to use it for anything else, treat them like you're trying to steal your Bitcoin. And so, like, this is like, wait a minute, he's like talking shit about a blockstream project. Like, where did this come from, right? And so I had to start digging into it. Anyways, they were throwing punches back and forth. And I says, don't use this, etc. The reality is there are trade-offs. Easier to lose via Lightning than Liquid due to accidental close penalty, offline during hostile close, Lightning Network hot wallet risk, low value is less concern. Lightning Network retail freeze by Liquid seems unlikely given. So basically, this is Adam Back shitting on Lightning. I mean, it's not shitting. It's just saying the realities of it. And you've never actually like seen this from a blockstream employee before, right? And so what is Liquid, right? So what is Liquid? So I was diving into it today, and Liquid is a federated sidechain, and what federated means is that all of these people right here are a member, which means they essentially like vote on if a transaction is valid or not. So honestly, like the easiest way to kind of understand it would be like proof of stake. Like these are all stakeholders, but they don't actually like have any like stake involved. They just are like approved by blockstream, I guess. I'm not sure who actually kind of approves the individual members, now that I think about it. But so there's a block every minute, and it goes round robin style, which means I was trying to figure out what exactly that means, and I think it just like goes in order. Like, okay, first is this guy. Is my mouse not showing up on the screen? That's super strange. Never seen that before. So you can't even see what I'm pointing at. No, maybe I have to go like this. No, that's not what I want. So like it goes this guy, then this guy, then this guy, then this guy, like in order, right? So like a round robin is apparently what it means. So it's just it's so basically they say it's for. Okay, so let me get into this piece right here. So this is by Kyle Torpy. He says Bitcoin's liquid sidechain matters more than the Lightning Network in 2020. And basically his reason is going, so he says SegWit was added to Bitcoin in 2017. This makes using Bitcoin for payments a far better experience. But again, like there's just like conflicting things. The people that make Liquid and people that make Lightning say Bitcoin isn't for payments, and then say, well, SegWit helps with payments. Well, why do you even just hodl, right? And due to a variety of issues regarding price volatility, tax, two main use cases of Bitcoin are still storing value and speculation at the moment, which the majority of space, I'd say, is like speculation. I don't know if like storing value is ever like a good thing, just how volatile it is. I don't think that's like ever a good narrative to push to, especially to normal people. Like, oh, you have $1,000, just put it in Bitcoin, that'll store your value. Like, don't worry about it. Like, no, you have to treat it as speculation. It's not storing value. And Spice token in the chat, that's a new one. Liquid is a new Lightning. And so according to chain analysis data from last year, 90% of Bitcoin activity is related to exchanges. And so the reasoning goes, okay, so the Liquid members are basically a lot of exchanges. Okay, so it's a federation of exchanges. We can go back to the member list right here. Still can't believe my mouse didn't show up on screen. It's super strange. Sideshift, BitMEX. Sideshift is solid. Bitfinex, BitMEX, BTSE, OKCoin, Hubai. I'm not sure who some of these other guys are. Bull Bitcoin is Francis Pouliot's company. Haymaker. So anyways, the reasoning is if these coins are going through centralized regulated entities anyway, then there is no reason to use the costly, relatively speaking, Bitcoin blockchain for these transactions. If someone is moving coins from Binance to Coinbase, for example, there's no reason for those coins to be put on a decentralized ledger. The user is already trusting both entities with their money. And so when you kind of put it that way, I mean, I guess it makes sense because like now they're not pushing payments, they're pushing speculation. So if you need a better way to not use the Bitcoin blockchain to just trust people, then yeah, use Liquid. Just trust people, you know, because you're not in Bitcoin for the trustlessness, you're in Bitcoin for the speculation. So I guess it makes sense. How do I join live? This is my show. I'll have you on a guest sometime. As the above chart indicates, adoption of both Liquid and Lightning is extremely low, but apparently Liquid is catching up. We'll kind of get in those stats a little bit more. And so then it goes on saying Lightning may eventually be useful for exchanges. But again, you can't use like larger transactions, and fees are based on a percentage of the value sent. And so there are key improvements needed for Lightning Network's payment layer to work more efficiently and integrate better with exchanges. So it's almost like the people pushing Liquid are like giving up on Lightning. I don't know. It's just amazing to kind of see these narratives shift so quickly. And so, so Peter Woolley, probably one of like the least toxic people that work at Blockstream. He says LBTC is what it's called. Liquid Bitcoin is great for people who already trust Federation members. Others shouldn't care about it. It's slightly different for issued assets, where the Federation can only censor and not steal. So you can put other assets besides BTC on Liquid. I think on SideShift there's like they do Bitcoin Cash Liquid. I have no idea how that works, but apparently there's a Bitcoin Cash on top of Liquid. So SideShift has everything. So here's Andreas of SideShift. He wrote this article integrating Blockstream's liquid payments onto SideShift. And so this is kind of a good way for me to kind of see how this is all working under the hood. I mean, I'll be honest, I kind of skipped a lot of those, but I did find some transaction data that I looked up. And so here is his peg-in transaction, which means he sent Bitcoin. Let me zoom in a little bit. He sent Bitcoin to the address. My head is in the way, as usual. I have to go in the middle. Is that the best way? Liquid is your new friend. Lightning is not cool anymore. Yes, everybody love Liquid. And so this is his peg-in transaction. He needed 0.026 LBTC. So like the input says it's just, hey, it's the output is in the parent chain. So you can go to that, and it goes to the Bitcoin BTC Explorer, and this is the transaction, the peg-in transaction. And so he sent it to this address. If you follow this address, it goes to this address, and the peg-in money that he sent went over to this one, which is the amount of BTC on Liquid. So this is the proof of Bitcoin on Liquid, right? This is the address they use for all the LBTC. Right now it has about 600 BTC in it. So it's all smart contracty, similar to Lightning. You peg in. The thing is, though, you can't peg out individually. You need to be an actual member to peg out, which is very strange. Very strange. But anyway, let's go back to Liquid Explorer a little bit, shall we? So we'll go back to Liquid Chain. And so there's transaction fees on Liquid. So 400 sats, I think is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, what is Bitcoin now, like 9,000? So the transaction fee was 3-4 cents. So I mean, it's similar to Bitcoin blockstream funded by Bilderberg and MasterCard. What do you expect? Oh, I lost it. So these transaction fees, they go to the member that mines the block. And remember, it's round robin. So of the 30 some Federation members, like they could just go in order, and they get the transaction fees. And so that's actually the smallest fee I've seen so far. Maybe it's just like the peg-in transaction. And so you can go to just the regular Liquid Explorer. And so there's a block every minute. And so here's, it says Coinbase, which is strange, but it's basically just a culmination of all the transaction fees. I don't know why they call it a Coinbase. But yeah, every other, I think, the confidential transactions are more expensive. So they have this thing called confidential transactions, which hide the amount of LBTC you're sending, and it's a little more expensive. I think it's like 40 cents. At this current rate, it's like 2,000 sats. And you can't see how much money you have on the sidechain, which I guess is cool. Privacy on Bitcoin sidechain. That's kind of Liquid for you. That's all I really got for you. Okay, so the peg out. So let me get to the peg out real quick. Peg in, peg out, peg in, peg out. Let's see. Let's see, peg in. Oh yeah, so the peg in transaction, you have to wait for 102 confirmations to peg in, which is like 17 hours. That's quite a long time. And so let's see. Do they have peg out here? And did he talk about it? Peg out. Nope, he did not. And so I thought this was just more hypocrisy. So we're gonna.
I'm not a fan of proof of stake because there are a lot of issues, and the problem is with proof of stake, the issues are so complex, most people don't understand it. There's things like state grinding, withholding your vote to manipulate the flow of token generation. There's a problem of snowballing, where people holding large chunks of tokens get more and more over time because the rich get richer. And then there's the whole issue of security as a whole, which proof of stake is not able to counter adversarial conditions from other proof of stake coins. They like to say, well, because everyone has a coin, they're incentivized to protect the network. But that's true of your network. But what if someone else creates a proof of stake coin? They're incentivized to use their capital to destroy your network, right? And then there's the whole issue of just perpetual energy or perpetual motion, which is people think that you can take away the energy and not waste that energy, but you lack the energy is what gives you security, right? If you take, for example, I know we're going a bit off topic, but if you take, for example, a pot of water and you put some gold in there, right? And you boil the water and you're consuming energy. That's kind of like proof of work. You're adding energy to this equation to derive security for something, right? But for a project like, say, Ethereum, they're saying, well, we're going to transition to proof of stake. And we're going to build this contraption.
Okay, so stupid metaphors. I don't know why the whole boiling gold doesn't make any sense. But so instead of proof of stake, you have proof of exchange, right? And this is the thing they're pushing. So it's just the hypocrisy is just so... The hypocrisy. It just... it's so hard not to talk about it. It's just so in your face. And so yeah, the risk people are talking about is if people use it for, say, retail or other kind of transactions where the model might not make as much sense. So yeah, like putting in a BTC pay, just you ruin the point of Bitcoin. You're just ruining the whole point of Bitcoin. Thanks for the spice. I'm fucking bored. That's okay. We're learning here today. And so the PEG Trust, 2/3 of Federation, exchanges not to tamper with their hardware devices. So trade-offs. And so here we're going to have a poem here. So here's a poem here. It's possible that the Lightning Network will not work out. If so, I hope there are some poems about the attempts. Forward the Lightning Brigade. Was there a man dismayed? Not though the developer knew someone had blundered. There's not to make reply. There's not a reason why. There is but to do and die. So there's from a Lightning developer. So they're shifting away from Lightning because apparently it doesn't work very well. So nice poem. Very nice poem. Money blinds. Indeed. So what else? What other tabs I got up here? Oh, hey. Sorry. So it's just... Again, it's just this hypocrisy, just promoting the Lightning Network over and over and over again, and then just suddenly shifting to like, oh yeah, let's use Liquid instead, and side chains, right? It's just not Bitcoin, and then they say Bitcoin isn't a payments thing, but you use Lightning for payments, and then they're like, oh, it's just for speculation, so just use Liquid. So I mean, if you're just gonna speculate, yeah, use Liquid, I guess. So we're gonna end off with this song called "Fuck You, Blockstream." Fuck off, Blockstream.
So that everyone can see there's a fox in the
captions are not quite right. Oh. Hey, the captions are kind of right. I don't know. Let's see. Look, I got hit by downvote bots. Throw a like for the brigade. Yeah, there's captions down here. Yeah. Not super wordy. You're the fox in the hen house, wolf among the sheep. There's hair in my asshole. That's probably the best line. Good job, guys. So, yeah, that's that. So, maybe we'll see blockstream kind of lose some of their influence within the Bitcoin community, because you have seen a lot of just Bitcoin thought leaders kind of saying Liquid isn't cool, like it's not trustless, like I saw one good comparison from Liquid to Lightning. It was Lightning Network might be risky, but you're in control of all your funds. So like if it messes up, it's your fault. But Liquid, if it messes up, it's not your fault. So that's the comparison. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end it off here. Keep it around a half hour. So and I'm gonna go eat dinner. So Liquid is the new Lightning. So the next boondoggle to keep everybody interested in the Ponzi of BTC. So, all right. Bye now. I'm going to fade to black because that's cool.